You're listening to Guitar Goddess Radio with Ezina, only on LA Talk Radio.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey guys, today we are back in the studio. We've got an amazing show for you. Today we have Miss Rebecca Sullivan in the studio. And I want to say all the way from New Zealand, but she's been in LA for a while. Welcome, Rebecca.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. We are just so excited to get started here and to learn more about you and your music. You know, you are not only a guitarist, you also play ukulele.
Yes, I do.
And I had the opportunity to hear you live at a private event in Malibu not too long ago.
Yeah, it was awesome. That was a great event. It was so beautiful.
I know. Like, the view there was gorgeous. The day was gorgeous. The weather was perfect. And I think everybody, like, listening to you play ukulele, like, we all felt like we were transported to, like, Hawaii or something. It was really great. So tell us, how did you get started with music?
Well, ever since I was a little kid, I loved singing. I started singing in a choir when I was 7, I think, and I took piano. And then when I was a teenager, I learned guitar. Actually, 2 of my best friends played guitar.
Okay.
And I decided to learn, and I fell in love with it. I mean, from the moment I started, it really hurts your hands. And you have to really want to play guitar but I just loved it. And since then I was always playing. And in my 20s, I started really writing music, and I eventually got the courage to, record and perform and that sort of thing.
Wow, that's really cool. You know, and what I love is that you started so young, and you started in New Zealand or here?
No, I was really small when I left New Zealand.
Okay.
I was about 2. So I did not start in New Zealand. I grew up on the East Coast.
Okay.
So I lived in Connecticut when I started playing guitar.
Okay.
And then I moved here, and then it was actually a way for me to process the transition between East Coast and West Coast. I would just play every day, and I think it helped me it helped me adapt.
Yeah. You know, music has a magical way of doing that. It's really incredible how, music can transform you. You know, for me, music also was a great healer, going through my parents' divorce and, just all that sort of upheaval that happens in a life. I think it's really great for kids to get involved with music really young. And it's also one of the reasons why there's a organization very near and dear to Guitar Goddess called Guitars Over Guns. And we love the organization because they get inner city kids out of gangs and into music.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that
awesome.
crazy?
Yeah, that's great.
It's just so incredible. So I really love the organization. Shout out to Guitars Over Guns. But yeah, back to you, using music, it's taking you all over the place, and into studios and performances. Talk a little bit more about composing. Like, you have some great music, which we're going to hear a little bit later. But what is your process when you're writing music?
I usually have an idea. It depends. It depends on the song. But in general, I have an idea of something that I want to talk about or I want to write about. And then I pull out my guitar and I just start playing. Some songs I walk around for 6 months with them in my head. Mm-hmm. And others come out in like half an hour. So, for example, the one we're going to play, it was based on an experience I had. And I wrote it basically in about an hour.
Wow.
And then I just kind of refined it.
Yeah.
And I eventually recorded it. But that one I wrote in an hour. But then another one, which I'm very proud of, I spent about 6 months writing it. And I think I came up with a guitar part first. And then I just kind of, because of the guitar part, I was able to come up with the theme of the song, and just, it took a while. I think sometimes songs, I have to have experiences for the song to be done. Certain experiences make me think of lyrics, which which make me finally finish the song, you know.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting that you say that because sometimes it's not ready. You know, it's kind of like a baby. You know, it's in an incubator, and it's like, okay, it's not quite there yet.
Yeah, I know. And I do have one in my head, which has been in my head probably about, since November or December.
Yeah.
And it's still not done. And I haven't I haven't finished it yet. I should probably force myself, but I feel like, I don't know, it's a process.
It is a process, you know, and you can't really beat yourself up as a musician. It's like you really have to let the songs live. You know, they are living things, and let them go at their own pace. But that's cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, you've got a lot going on, you know, and you also have 2 boys.
I do have 2 boys, yes.
Oh my gosh, and how old are they?
They are almost 12, 11. He's 11. He'll be 12 in November. But I can't call him 12 yet. He'll get mad at me. And 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how do they feel about the music? Are they into the music? How do they feel?
Yeah, I mean, they don't really know. They don't remember a time when I wasn't. I was always making music as they grew up. I remember when they were little, they used to have me sing certain songs every night before they went to bed. Like my song on my first album, Summer Sunset, and this song, This Will Not Break Me, they both used to always request it. And they don't do that anymore. It was kind of sad when they stopped.
Oh.
Yeah, but they always, you know, it's just, for them, it's just normal that mom's a singer. I always used to, when they were smaller too, I would always sing for their classes. I actually do kids music also on the side.
Cool.
And every year I would sing for their classes and do like a fun little show and talk about my music, and they loved that.
That's really cool. So when you say you do kids music on the side, talk to me about that.
Oh, okay. Well, it's I'm Rebecca Strawberry for my kids music.
Love.
And I wear a strawberry hat, and I play fun songs about bubbles and carnivals and things like that. I actually wrote that song when my kids were, I wrote that album when my kids were a lot smaller. So I wrote it with my friend who actually lived in New York at the time. So we wrote on Skype every Saturday morning we would meet, and I would talk about the things that I was going through with my kids, and then we would make songs out of them. And it's about 10 songs, and they're very fun, and I usually play at libraries and malls and places like that.
I love that. That is awesome. Wait, and I also have to go back to, I love that you said your friend was in New York and you had a meeting and you met on Skype.
On Skype.
To compose the album.
Basically, yeah. And I went out there to record it.
Okay.
But we wrote it on Skype. We did, yeah.
I love that. So what'd you do? You had your guitar and you're playing chords and, you know.
Yeah, we both usually brought out our guitars.
Okay.
And
You're listening to Guitar Goddess Radio with Ezina, only on LA Talk Radio.
All right, we're back and we're talking to Rebecca Sullivan. Rebecca is our guest here today. We're talking about music, and you know, she does all kinds of music. You do music for children, you do music for adults, you kind of do music for everything. But we left off, we were talking about composing a children's album over Skype.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So basically we would bring our guitars, and we would decide what we wanted to write about. And I think it was a different process than when I'm writing by myself. But with him, we would usually start with the lyrics, and then we would come up with maybe just like a little riff or something. For example, there's this song, it's called Cotton Candy Bubblegum Lollipop Fun. And I came up with that, and I was like, cotton candy bubblegum lollipop fun. And from that, we built a whole song. So that was like the basis, and we kind of built around it. And we came up with lyrics, and, you know, he came up with some good chords. And, yeah, and then we eventually, you know, we produced it, and I performed that song a lot now. It's a very fun, simple song, but kids
it is
love
fun. I can't imagine that you get lots of requests for birthday parties and bat mitzvahs and bar mitzvahs and things like that.
Yeah, I mean it's fun. I always enjoy those gigs because kids are the best audience. They're first of all, you know exactly what they're thinking. You know, if you lose them, they're gone. They walk away.
Yeah.
You know? They're not going to sit there like adults and pretend that they care. They just walk away. So you have to be on your game. And but at the same time, if they like it, you know, and they will tell you, and it's all over their faces. So they're such a great audience. Yeah, it's fun.
I love that. I love seeing kids like when they're being entertained, because like the bliss on their faces is like priceless.
Yeah.
Like you just want to bottle it up because you're like, oh my God, they're so happy.
Yeah.
Like look at all that joy like in that little being, and they're just like spinning out of control. I love it.
It's true.
It's so cool. And what do your kids think? Are they interested in music and playing music, or?
Well, my older one is very much into baseball. That's his main thing. My younger one, he does play guitar with me sometimes. He wants to learn. I don't want to push him too much.
Yeah.
Because he's still little, but he definitely. There's a guitar that I told him it's my older guitar. I told him it's his, so he knows that. And
nice.
Every now and then we'll have a little lesson, and he's sweet about it.
Oh, I love that so much. Now, you were mentioning earlier about playing guitar and how it hurts your hands. And it's so funny because, you know, growing up, my dad never wanted me to play guitar because he didn't think it was ladylike. You know, and then when I started, you're right, those calluses are intense. You know, until you get them, like, it's really tough. So what kept you going despite the pain of the playing in the beginning?
I think I'm just really stubborn, and I wanted to do it. I just really wanted to be able to play a song, a whole song. And actually, the first song I played was this Peter Paul. I don't know if it was written by Peter Paul and Mary. I'm not sure, but they did it. It's called "If I Had a Hammer." It's just 4 chords. And my mom actually, she played guitar when she was younger. She still plays, but not as much as me.
Okay.
And she taught it, or she told me about the chords. And so I was like, I want to learn this song. And so I did. I played it until I could do it.
Yeah.
And it was such a good feeling when I first was able to play it and sing. I was so happy. I loved it.
That's really cool. What kind of guitars do you play?
Well, I play Innovation.
Okay.
I actually, a few years ago, I got a sponsorship with them. So they sent me this beautiful blue guitar, which I always play with. And they sent me a ukulele also. It's kind of goes along with the guitar. I guess it matches. I mean, the ukulele isn't blue, but it's beautiful anyway.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
I did get to see it and hear it.
Yeah. It has a great sound. I always perform with it. With my adult shows. Actually, my kids' shows, I use one that's a little bit broken because at kids' shows, you never know what's going to happen. Right.
What's going to get spilled on it, or who's going to, behind your back, take it and run and decide it's a sword.
Yes. So I don't usually bring my Ovation to my kids' shows, but at all my adult shows, I use it.
Yeah. Well, cool. You know, there are a lot of our listeners that are younger, and they want to know, like, how to get started. You know, there's one little girl, if you look on the website right now, she, I think she's 12, and I know, isn't that sweet?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I'm just starting to play guitar. You know, do you have any suggestions for me? So I'm going to let you answer her question today.
I would say don't give up, even if it hurts. Keep working at it, keep going, and just if you continue, then it won't hurt as much. And go to as many open mics as you can and just play and get used to playing in front of people. Because the more you do it, the less you'll be scared. And it's really scary. And also, don't beat yourself up. If you go to an open mic or have a show and you mess up, it's okay. Everybody does it. I still mess up sometimes, but I know I just keep playing, and people usually don't notice if I mess up. Sometimes I forget the words. Sometimes I forget the chords of my own songs. But I don't stop. If you stop, then people know. But if you don't, people just think it's part of it, you know? So, yeah, it's okay to mess up, and you will mess up, and that's fine. And just don't give up.
Thank you. That's great advice, and I'll make sure that she gets your reply, because we get those questions a lot, and I think as women sometimes we doubt ourselves and we doubt our abilities, and we think that we have to come out playing like Melissa Etheridge in order to go and do an open mic. And I think just starting where you are is really important.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. I think we definitely beat ourselves up. We're perfectionists, and we don't want to try unless we think that we'll be perfect. But I think just the process of trying is better than nothing, and you learn so much just by performing. You really do. Like, the more you perform, the better you get at it.
It's true. And I want to switch gears a little bit. You are a multi-hyphenate. You're doing so many things. In addition to your music and in addition to raising 2 boys, you are getting a master's degree.
I am, yes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like, do you sleep?
I try. I have to force myself. I could easily try and have 4 hours of sleep a day, but then I would be a zombie. So I force myself to sleep. I have to manage my time carefully.
Yes.
Yeah. Luckily, I have a lot of family and supportive people who help me if I need it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do a lot.
Take us through a traditional day for you, because you do a lot, like you're raising the children and so forth, and you're doing music every day. So how do you balance all of this? Take us through like a typical day for you.
A typical day, well, on days that I have my kids, I have to get up and get them dressed, obviously. I mean, not get them dressed. They get themselves dressed now. But I get them fed. I make sure they have their lunches. I make sure there isn't anything that I have to sign for school, and I have to get them to school on time, which, just getting out the door is hard. I think any mom knows getting out the door is hard. You get out the door, and I actually live a little bit far from their school, so I have to make sure I leave before traffic, and then I drop one off, then I drop the other one off, and then I usually, depending on my schedule, I'll go home and study for a few hours. Usually I study while they're in school, and then I pick them up. And then we do homework. One of my sons has baseball, so sometimes his dad comes and takes him to baseball. We do homework, and then I get them to bed. And then when they're in bed at like 9 or 9:30, I usually play and work on my music for at least half an hour. It kind of relaxes me. Half an hour to an hour, depending on my mood. And then I spend a few hours studying. I'll study till probably 10 to midnight.
Wow.
Something like that, yeah.
I'm exhausted just hearing that schedule. Wow, that's incredible. Yeah. So what advice do you have for like moms out there? Because, it's interesting. There are a lot of women who are moms who've put their music on the shelf.
That's true, yeah. I think just keep doing it. Don't give up, just because it's easy to make excuses about, reasons why, and these are very valid reasons why you're not doing your music. But I think if you just you could spend 5 minutes a day working on a song, and 5 minutes, even if you tell yourself 5 minutes, it'll probably turn into half an hour, or if you even just spend half an hour a day working on your music, eventually you'll have a song, eventually you can record it, eventually it'll be something. Just keep at it. Don't give up.
That's great. It's so cool that you're able to manage all of this. But, they always say if you want something done, ask a busy person. If you want something done right, ask a mom.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah.
Because you'll figure it out. You always figure out like how to balance everything and get it done. Yeah. So I want to talk about your new single that you have that we're going to debut here today in the show. Set us up and tell us about the song.
Okay, well, this song is a weird song. It's called Rainbows and Bunnies. And I had it was just a weird experience I had with, I don't really want to go into the exact details, but it was with someone I was dating a few years ago. And it was just this weird, funny experience I had. And it had to do with people dressed up as bunnies. And
Halloween?
Yeah, it was
Masquerade?
Halloween.
Okay.
It was Halloween a few years ago. And it was just this really funny, ironic story. And I told one of my best friends, Nadine, who's also a singer-songwriter, and she has amazing music, actually. I should send it to you. But she said, Rebecca, you have to write a song about this. And I was like, Nadine, you're right.
Yeah.
And so the next day, or a few days later, I wrote this song, Rainbows and Bunnies. And it's just it's weird and kind of trippy. And the video goes along with that. The video is even weirder than the recording, actually.
Ooh, I like weird.
Yeah, I wanted it to be slightly weirder, but it's weird enough the way it is. Like, I don't know. I'm like at one point I'm coming out of the floor, and it's just kind of strange, but also fun, and it's called Rainbows and Bunnies.
All right, we're going to listen to Rainbows and Bunnies by Rebecca Sullivan. That was so much fun.
Thank you.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. It makes me, listening to that song always makes me happy.
Yeah, it's one of those songs, it felt very Alice in Wonderland. Like it took me into that place. And maybe it was because of the bunnies, but I just imagined, because you set it up and you said a party, and I'm just like, I can just see all these people dancing around to this song. And the lyrics were totally fun. And that's the joy of music, is that you can create from every experience.
It's true. Yeah. Totally. Absolutely.
That's really great. I want to talk about the business of marketing yourself as an artist. You have your new single, you have a video out, and tell us a little bit about that for you. Like, how has marketing been?
Honestly, I don't like it at all. As a musician, I don't like promoting self-promotion. I mean, you have to, but I always, maybe it was the way I was raised because my parents are from New Zealand, and I don't know if it's that culture or maybe just the way my family culture is, but I always feel like a little bit embarrassed, I guess, self-promoting, but if you're a musician, you have to promote yourself. So, but however, I definitely worked at it for a long time. I used to use SoundCloud, MySpace, all those different websites, Twitter, Facebook, obviously.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, I used to email everyone who expressed any type of interest in my music, and I would, just kind of try to get to know them and talk to them. And definitely it shows. It's always important to mention, your music and see if people want to buy your CDs and, ask them to follow you and that sort of thing. There's other musicians who have actually helped me, like this girl, Emiko, helped me with the promotion of this video.
Okay. And
she's really good at the marketing. It's kind of nice to bring other people on board, actually, and rather than doing it all yourself, because it can just get really, I don't know, it can get frustrating. You can get caught up in the marketing, and then you kind of lose the creative side. So I don't know. I think it's a balance, though.
It is definitely a balance and a dance that we have to do as musicians.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's being from New Zealand. I think every artist has a hard time with marketing and promotion because you're putting yourself out there. And you already put yourself out there with your music, and then to go and talk about it and promote it is sometimes challenging. So we thank you so much for coming today to do that.
You're welcome.
But, I totally get it. With my projects, it's the same thing. You finish the project and you're like, yay, it's done. But it's not really done. It's just the beginning.
Yeah, you have to talk to people about it, or else no one's going to hear it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I don't know why. I guess it's just, I always feel embarrassed, but I don't know why I do. I just feel like I'm full of myself or something, or that I'm better than everyone else. But I'm like, you know what, though? I made this thing.
Absolutely.
And
Be proud.
I need people to see it.
Yes,
so,
absolutely. And it's great. And it's so much fun. Like, I love it. I love the song. I love the story behind it. I'd love more juicy details behind it.
Yeah. There are juicy
I could just tell from the lyrics. I'm like, this is way deeper than a Halloween party. We've got bunnies coming out of the brain. And we've got hipsters, and we've got a lot going on there. That was so much fun.
Definitely.
But yeah, the music business has shifted a lot. We had MySpace, and that was kind of the beginning, and we thought, oh yeah, this is great. And then they imploded, and then, we've got Facebook, and we have Instagram, and it's just so challenging to try to keep it all together and to promote it all across all those different levels of social media. But you're doing a really good job.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you said you have a team that helps you. You have your friends who are helping you.
Yeah. I do have, I guess over the years, you just kind of build contacts. You build relationships. Like, my friend Mark definitely helps me a lot. There's this guy, Jimmy Lloyd. He has a songwriter showcase I was in like a year ago or something. So he helps me. Emiko definitely helps me. My friend Rob Michaels. Just people you get to know.
Yeah.
And then they sort of become part of your world. And and the songwriter that I worked with for the kids album, Shelly, he definitely is sort of part of my little network, I guess.
Yeah.
It's networking.
So it's really important, I guess what I'm hearing from you is really important to network and to have like your tribe of people that are helping you to push your projects out there.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I think it's like this with anything, with any idea or business. You find people who you click with, who believe in your music, who you feel comfortable with and whom you can trust. And that's important, I think.
Absolutely.
And it takes time. And you don't know if you can trust people until they've been in your life for a while, really.
It's true. It's true. And like you were talking about with co-writing with your friend Shelly, like how did you guys work that out? Did you like talk on the phone and say, okay, well, we're going to split the profits from this 50-50? Did you have a formal arrangement? Like, how does that work? Because I think sometimes artists are afraid to collaborate.
Well, he's definitely very professional. He's been doing it a lot longer than I have. I met him at some networking thing, convention or expo or something. And we immediately clicked, though, over just experiences we both had. And it's funny because it is, you do network, but then you also, you're with they're artists, so it's like you don't have boundaries. You talk about things that you probably wouldn't normally talk about in a normal business networking thing. So he and I, we actually bonded over the fact that we both had gotten divorced. So, but we also began a business relationship, and I believe even at the very beginning we signed a contract. Okay. And he recorded every session on his iPhone, so that just in case anything happened. And I think I was happy about the contract and about the recordings, just because I feel like it protected our relationship and also both of us. Yeah. You know,
yeah, that's really great, because sometimes people are afraid of paperwork. They're afraid of those contracts, but you know, it can be good because then you can relax and just make music.
Yeah, I think it's important, actually, and I think that it is something that I've definitely overlooked in the past, and I feel like I'm glad that he doesn't, and I think it is, you should always have a contract, even verbal agreements. You know, people are going to come back and say, oh, you said something different, you know, so I think that's an important thing to have right off the bat. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's really cool. So what's next for Rainbows and Bunnies? We have the video.
Yeah, we have the video, and I am going to release it on, you know, all the different iTunes, Spotify, everything, within the next month, I believe. Okay. Yeah, and then my next project is actually an electronic project. So I started that about a year ago with this guy, Adam, and I'm working on it. I think I'm going to start working on it next week. So cool. I have to go back to it because we started it, but then I decided I wanted to focus on promoting this one, and I had already made the video, but I wanted to, you know, focus on this one for a while, and then so now I'm going to go back to that electronic project. It was actually different from anything I've done before. I've been sort of writing on the computer and doing more piano-based stuff, which is actually kind of fun and refreshing. So I'm looking forward to this new one. Yeah.
Cool. And how is that different? Like electronic music, you know, I love it, like EDM, you know, it's all good. But when you're recording that project versus a guitar-centric project, how is it different?
Well, it's different because it definitely is a lot more computer-based. I haven't gotten to the recording part yet, so I can't speak on that. But I would assume the vocals would be similar, but most of it is on the computer, though, which is different. And I mean, you can use live music or live riffs and things like that. But the structure is different. I think you kind of take a melody and manipulate it and change it, and he had me kind of make everything a lot longer. He was saying, because usually my songs I just write it and I play it. Yeah. And it's a structure and I have it in my head. But like he kind of said, okay, well, think about it, but just make it like I don't know, I think maybe like 16 each verse. It was 16 measures or something like that. That is a lot longer than I normally do. But there's actually a lot more space to add interesting stuff when you have 16 measures to work with.
Oh, for sure.
You know? Yeah. Usually it's like I do it like I just kind of play. But so it's fun. It's a fun process actually to learn and actually be more part of the production process.
And do you use like when you're composing yourself, do you have a favorite software that you like to use?
Well, for now, I mostly, in the past, I always just worked with producers who had their software, but all I have is, what's it called? Guitar, the Apple.
Oh, the GarageBand.
GarageBand, yeah. So I do that. But actually the most recent version is pretty good. And so there's a lot you can do.
Yeah, for sure.
So I use that, and I think once we actually get to the point where we're going to finish it, we'll most likely use his software, which is, I believe,
Pro Tools. Or
I think it's Pro Tools.
I'm
pretty sure.
Or something.
It's one of those. I should know, but
it's all good.
Yeah, I don't.
It's funny. That's funny. Like when you play guitar, are you mostly picking, or are you using finger picking, or are you using a pick?
I always play with my fingers, actually. I don't like
do.
using picks. I used to use picks.
Yeah.
But then I realized that I play better with my fingers. So I always get these the gel manicures for that.
Right.
And I either pick. I love picking.
Yeah.
Or I just strum with my fingers.
It's so funny. I'm looking at your nails. You have a gel manicure now. I tried to do that, and I was using the gel as my picks, and like my nails were popping all over the place. Like I was totally losing my nails. And I went home one day with a bloody finger after recording in the studio. My husband's like, "What happened?" And I'm like, "I'll tell you later."
That's never happened to me.
Oh,
I
it's
don't know
good
why.
that it hasn't happened to you. That's very good. That was a very bad situation. But you got it together that you can play, and your nails look beautiful. Mine look like they've been run over by a truck.
Yeah, I keep them short. I usually, these one's a little longer, but I don't like to get much longer than this.
Yeah.
And this obviously, like, I just clip these fingers so I can play. But yeah, for me it works.
Oh, that's awesome. I'll have to try. Maybe I need a thicker one or something, but yours look beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know. I just get the normal gel.
Yeah.
I don't get anything. I think the bio gel is like thicker and your whole finger comes off.
Yeah.
The whole, not your finger, but the whole nail. Like
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah.
And it took my nail with it.
Yeah. So,
not fun.
maybe just the normal. But now I'm like,
yeah,
paranoid.
we went.
Now I'm gonna get scared.
No, don't be. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. But it's just your nails look beautiful, and I'm like, okay, you're using your nails instead of a pick. What is your secret? Because I'd love to do that as opposed to. I mean, picking's great, but you know, when you've got natural picks on your fingers, that's much easier.
Yeah.
I know. I totally got off, but this is a chick show, and we are guitar goddesses, so we get to talk about like all the beauty stuff.
Well, I heard that a guy actually, a guy from Nashville told me to do that. He said that in Nashville they do that. They get, and I think it's something else. I don't even know if it is a gel or
acrylic. I know Paul McCartney. He uses he has acrylic on his nails.
Yeah. They use acrylic.
Yeah,
so they can play. So they can pick.
That's so fun.
Even the guys.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, if they're using it, we can use it too.
Not?
Exactly. So tell us what's your next move? Where are you going to be performing next?
Well, I just got an email actually for a showcase. There's this woman, Annette Conlin, who does a lot of charity events, and I haven't looked at the message yet, but I think she invited me to be in one of her showcases.
Cool.
And so I don't have the date yet,
yeah.
Unfortunately, and I'm hoping that I can make it, but that'll most likely be my next gig.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't have anything else set up, but I do want to book more. I feel like I need to play more because I've been focusing a little bit on my studies, which isn't a bad thing, but I like to have shows set up just so I feel like myself and you know.
And do you usually set shows up yourself, or do people contact you? Like, how does that work? You know, it's different for everybody, so I'm always curious about, you know.
I guess lately people have contacted me. I did spend a long time just calling everybody I could.
Yeah.
You know, but now the last few shows I've done, like the one where you saw me, Mark contacted me. I played at a wine bar a few months ago, and I had played there before, so they called me. They're like, "Oh, do you want to play?" And I said, "Yes." And same with this. I mean, I used to search them out, but then I guess you build. It's the same thing, building relationships, and then people come back to you, and they're like, "Oh, do you want to play?" And I usually say yes.
Yeah. And what are your favorite types of gigs to play?
That's a good question. You know, I actually really like the small gigs. I like playing at small wine bars where it's relaxed and not too crazy, and it's always nice when people are listening. But at the same time, I like it when not all the attention is on me. Because sometimes it can be more nerve-wracking when everyone is staring at you and all the attention's on you. Like when it's quiet, it's for me, I guess, because I've played so many gigs in bars and clubs and places like that where there's people talking, and you're trying to get their attention rather than people coming and listening. When it's quiet, it's a little bit. I don't know. Sometimes it's unnerving, but I mean, I do like those. I like those gigs because people actually are listening, which is nice. It's nice to know that they're listening. But I think I do prefer it when it's a small crowd and just kind of relaxed and, good vibes.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's really interesting you say that, because as an audience, you know, sometimes when you're in the audience listening to music, you don't know what to do. You know, as a musician, I'm saying.
Yeah,
you know, because you're like, okay, well, yes, I'm listening to the music and it's great, but like when you were performing, I felt like I was just staring at you. And I'm like, is this weird? You know, because I know when I'm on the other end, I don't even really see the people out there. You know, I'm just so in my element, I don't really even notice it. But, you know, you wonder, like, is this weird that I'm just like staring at her? She's playing her ukulele, and then I was filming you for a while, and I was like, okay, well, maybe this is a little weird. I should go over here and like get a couple nipples to eat.
Yeah, especially at parties, it's like, but I don't know. I think when there's a big spotlight on you, you can't see anybody.
Right, exactly.
And so that's always, I don't know, I guess as an audience member, you can just, you know, do whatever you want, because the artist won't see. But when the artist can see you, I think as an audience member, I always try and be aware that the artist can't, because I don't know if this happens to you, but I kind of notice everything going on. Yeah. And so, but as an audience member, you don't, well, before I was a performer, I didn't think about that, that the artist can actually, like, somehow you can, I don't know how it is, because when I'm in a room, I don't notice everything going on. But when I'm performing, I can see everyone. Even I just notice, like, people going in and out, and you just kind of notice and you take it in. But so I guess I'm always aware as an audience member that the artist can, you know, is aware of what I'm doing. So I try and pay attention, but at the same time, I don't want to put too much pressure. You know, but I like it. I like being able to see people, though. I guess maybe I don't know if I'm more used to that or what, but I think you feel more of a connection when you can see people's reaction rather than just having this big spotlight and you have no idea.
Yeah, you're blinded.
Yeah. Like, that's a little bit more. I've definitely done shows like that, and it's fun because you feel, you know, you're like in the spotlight, but at the same time, I don't feel as much of a connection. Yeah.
You know, it's cool. I love being at shows as an audience member, and I love being on the other side on the stage too.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because back in the day, people used to count all the people in the audience because that's how they got paid, right? Was based on how many people were in the audience. So there used to be a skill that they would teach you about how to count how many people were in the audience so that you could make sure you got paid the right amount at the end of the night.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. I guess that was before me because I never had to do that.
That was before my time too, but it's still like one of those fun things to know, like, you know, as you're looking out on the stage, you know, and I always try to count people and I lose count because you know, someone
it's hard to count people and perform at the same time.
Right. You know, you're looking out and then
that's a skill.
Someone will distract me and I'm like, oh, wait, I was counting over here. There was like, you know, this many people. And
then that guy just did that weird thing.
Right. He just did that weird thing. And you're like, okay, I see you. You thought you were invisible, but I really saw what you just did. So it's kind of funny. So tell me about making the video.
The video, it was fun. I got my friend Bobby to do it. He did 2 of my other videos.
Oh, cool.
So I had already worked with him. We first met and we kind of I told him my ideas and like what I wanted out of the video. We came up with some images that we thought would be cool. And then he brought on his people that he likes to work with to make it happen.
Did you come with the concept? Did you say I want the video like this, or did he tell me about that process?
Yeah, I came up with the concept. So I knew I had images in my mind, definitely that I really wanted to include, and I kind of said, well, you know, I want it to be about I want it to be a little bit surreal. I want it to be about, originally I really wanted it to be about the fact that there's all these weird things going on, but everyone was, and I think we did have a few scenes like that, but I wanted just to get this strange idea that there were people on their phones and doing all these things, but there were weird things going on, but no one noticed. Yeah. And I think there's a few scenes I did get some scenes like that, which I'm really happy about. Yeah. And so that was like one of the main themes, and then also just kind of fun and weird images that I wanted. Yeah. So I wanted to do an underwater shot, and we were gonna do one in the ocean, but it didn't work out just because of a few technical difficulties. But that was, I'm okay with that. I came to peace with that. I guess I had a specific idea, but I think with any creative project, you have to kind of let go at some point. Mm-hmm. Not everything ends up the way you imagined it, but I think we ended up with a really good video.
Yeah.
So we originally met, and then we found locations. I think we filmed it over maybe like 3 days or something.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. But we had it all organized, and I did it in this coffee shop where I go all the time, mm-hmm. and I've done shows there.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, they're really nice and friends with me. So they were cool, actually. They were really cool. They're like, okay, we'll stay open late, and we'll just have some wine. Aww. And you guys do your thing. And they
nice.
They invited friends over, and they were just hanging out and having wine.
Oh my gosh, that is so awesome.
Yeah, the place is called It's a Grind and More Park. It's like
It's a Grind and More Park.
Yeah.
We love you. We love that you did that. Like, that's so awesome.
Me out a lot. Yeah, they helped me, and they were so great about it, actually. Yeah. They're just great people, and local business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we got to give them some love. We got to make sure we send a shout out to them on social for supporting artists, because we need more businesses in our community to support artists.
It's true. Yeah.
Especially independent artists. We don't always have the budget to do these big Hollywood productions that you're used to, that come in and close down your business and pay you a week's worth of your revenue to use the venue. Like, indie artists don't have those resources. So
not at all. Yeah. Not at all. It's great to have people like that who are they just support art, and they're like, yeah, do your thing. We'll just hang out.
Yeah. So that was one locale.
One location. Then we filmed at this at a house of someone I know.
Okay.
And he let me use his pool, which was really great.
Nice.
So we got the underwater shots, and then we got some cool shots there. And then
the underwater, was it a saltwater pool or was it chlorine?
It was chlorine.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you'll see it in the video. I'm wearing like a prom dress kind of thing. Like it was actually my big sister's, it was a dress I wore to her wedding. It was a bridesmaid dress. So
I love that. I love that. What a perfect way to use a bridesmaid's dress. Usually those things, you take them either straight to Goodwill or you trash them in some way or another. And I love that you used it in the video.
It in my video. It's a really pretty dress. And I mean, it's like 8-line and long and beautiful. And but I filmed it. I was in the pool in this dress, like swimming around. And then there's like some weird shots of other people kind of swimming with me.
Yeah. In the chlorine.
In the chlorine.
Did you get it in your eyes when you're trying to like?
I did, yeah. But as a kid, I loved swimming. Like I was a swimmer. I used to swim competitively.
Cool.
For me, like being in the pool is just kind of second nature. So I liked it. Yeah.
That's
I liked
awesome.
those shots actually. It was hard.
Yeah.
I couldn't. It's really hard to pretend to sing underwater.
Yeah.
Like I don't think
the bubbles and everything.
Yeah, I don't know if I was able to do it. I tried, but like I was kind of like, this is almost impossible because I can't breathe. But we got some cool images though. Yeah.
Oh, that's so fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then what other location?
What else did we do? Well, I brought in, like at that location actually, I brought in my friend, my producer and friend, the guy Doug Heffernan, who produced this video. His wife did face painting too for that.
Cool.
So she painted me for that, like for the shots at the house.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought her in. So that was fun, like getting she painted this vine that kind of grows up and then eventually covers my face.
Love it.
Yeah, so like that was fun. And then what else? And then we did the beach, but the beach shots didn't really work out. So I was supposed to be like taking selfies of myself in the ocean, and then like I almost drowned. Someone comes and saves me, but that shot didn't make it. It didn't make it to the ultimate video, but it's okay.
That's fun though.
Yeah.
Like, I love talking about the video, too, because, yes, we talk about the music. We talk about the instruments and everything. But, you have to promote it and get your project out there. Yeah. And a lot of it is video. Mm-hmm. You got to get the video out there. And that's a whole nother process. Mm-hmm. So you started out with writing down your ideas that you had for it. Then you had to scout locations.
Yeah.
Then you had to ask all those locations, can we use it? Then you got to figure out, hair and makeup and all that good stuff.
That's true.
And then you're trying to sing and hear the music at the same time while you're doing all this.
Yeah, you do. You have to, and that's another hard thing you don't think about. But you, and that's one thing that Bobby did a good job with the syncing of me saying the music to the actual song. So we had to play it, and I have to sing. So I'm actually singing a lot of the time, because the only way to really get the images of me singing is actually by singing. You know? So I'm singing it, and I'm even breathing, just so you know. But with the underwater, we really tried. We're like, okay, see if you can hear it, and I don't think we were able to play it underwater, so I really couldn't hear.
I love it.
We tried.
It's great though. Like, this is the whole gamut. This is the playing the music, recording it, promoting it, doing the video, all of the above. And I don't think that some of our younger artists who are coming up think about like all the different steps that are involved in being an artist today.
Yeah, that's true. And even with promoting it, like I would go on, I would have to go on Instagram every day and just post something. And I started doing a lot of, I think I did a video of me playing it live, and then I just I had to post like shots from the video and things like that, just to kind of get people listening and get people seeing it, And so it's you're always constantly promoting. It's a process.
It's a never-ending process for sure.
Yeah.
But I love it. I love the song. I love the video, and I'm excited for to hear your EDM, your next project, your electronic music project as well. So we hope that you will come back.
I would love
to share that with us as well. But tell everybody like how they can stay in contact with you.
Yes, thank you. So you can go to my website is RebeccaSullivanmusic.com. So that's where you can contact me through there. There's a contact form. Instagram is at Rebecca Sullivan Music, and I'm on Instagram a lot. Actually, that's probably one of the best ways to get in touch with me. My Facebook is Rebecca Sullivan Music, and my Twitter is kind of weird, but I think it's connected to my website. It's at Rebecca with one C. So it's REBECAE Sullivan, because there's so many Rebecca Sullivans out there. So that's my Twitter, and I think that's it.
Awesome. So Rebecca Sullivan Music.
Yeah, Rebecca Sullivan Music. Yeah, and I actually do a lot of little 30-second or 1-minute covers on Instagram, which are just kind of fun, and people seem to like them, so you should check them out. Yeah.
That's awesome. And do you have a newsletter?
I should. I should.
Rule number 1, I tell everybody, you got to have a newsletter.
I know. Yeah, I know. I really should.
That's next. But for now, you can find her on Instagram.
Yes.
Most of the time, if you want to connect. And you guys, make sure that you tune in to GuitarGoddess.com, where you can find all kinds of amazing information on female guitarists from all over the world. You can find out about our upcoming shows. You can find out about our events. You can also find out about who's going to be our next incoming guest, which I won't tell you right now. It's going to be a secret. You're going to find out tomorrow. But if you missed any part of our interview, make sure you go to latalkradio.com. And you can look for Guitar Goddess there, and you can listen to our archives, and you can listen to today's show. So we thank you guys for tuning in. If you want to connect with us on social, you can find Guitar Goddess at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. We're even on Snapchat. Can you believe it? We're on Snapchat at Guitar Goddess Co. So Guitar Goddess Co. You can find Guitar Goddess and all the beautiful goddesses that we talk to every day on GuitarGoddess.com. Until the next time, you guys keep rockin'.
You're listening to Guitar Goddess Radio with Ezina, only on LA Talk Radio.